to the Quality of Life podcast. My name is Erin Olson, and I am a businesswoman and mother who has been studying personal growth for over 15 years. I've tried almost all of the habits and hacks out there. My goal is to use my real-life experience to show you which tricks and habits make the biggest changes to your quality of life with the least amount of time and energy on your part. We will cover everything from habits to hacks, fitness to family, and everything in between. Now, let's dive on into today's topic. Hey guys, this is Erin Olson, your host of the Quality of Life podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, at the time of recording this, we are just passing Thanksgiving and headed into the Christmas and Hanukkah season. This time of year is when the average American spends the most. Actually, according to the National Retail Federation, Americans spend about $800 billion between Thanksgiving and New Year. That's billion with a B. So how do we as business owners cash in on this time of the year without giving up our family and free time? That is the question of the ages. Today, I am going to give you some tips to make it through this season with hopefully more money in your pocket and at least a little bit less stressed. I really want to check in real quick on last week's homework. Have you been practicing your freshly crafted elevator pitch? If you haven't downloaded the Create Your Own Elevator Pitch formula, go get it now at theerinolson.com/pitch. And I'm going to put that link in the show notes so you don't have to write that down. But I want you to go and get that. And believe me, I know it seems so weird to practice this, but repeating it out loud makes it feel way less awkward. Trust me, never underestimate the power of the pitch. Okay, now if you are new at business or you've been in business for a while, you know how extra stressful this time of year can be. And you also know that as a small business owner, you basically make money equal to how hard or as much as you work, right? One of the toughest things to learn as a business owner is how to prepare for the fourth quarter, which that is just business lingo for October, November, December, so that you can make it through the rest of the year without leaving your family and your sanity behind. So let's talk strategy. One of the most important things as a business owner is how to plan in advance. Right, yeah, that would have been fine and dandy to hear back in August, but what do I do now, right? Well, this can be super tough when it feels like all you tend to do is put out fires. I know that right now you are wearing most, if not all, the hats in your business. Not to mention that you might be working full-time or part-time for someone else at this time as well. If you've got kids in school, you've got all the bake sales, the recitals, and the after-school projects and sports. And that can add another layer to your stress level. So how do we combat this? Here are some strategies to employ right now. First, take a breath or a quick walk. No, really, when you are super stressed, sometimes we make judgment calls from a hazy perspective. And when we are in crisis mode or exhausted, we can sometimes make decisions to put out those hottest fires that we're facing, but they might actually make more work for us in the long run. So before you make any decision, take a beat and take a few deep breaths. Breathe in for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then out for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called box breathing, and it is a technique that I personally use to immediately reduce the stress. Rinse, lather, and repeat until you feel better. And if you need something that's maybe got a little more firepower to it to knock down your stress level, take a quick 5-minute walk around the building or around the block. Just getting that physical exercise can help clear your mind and your ability to make better decisions. All right, second, consider that most of what you're doing now is the result of what you did months ago. Most of the sales, most of the problems, most of the arguments, they are all due to things that happened or choices that you made 2 to 3 months ago. I know. You're thinking, that's great, but what can I do about that now, Erin? Well, you can't change what happened months ago, but you can learn from it. This is where business people who succeed and become resilient to all of the fluctuations in the market and all of the stress produced by owning a business, they put their past to work for them. So take a few minutes and look at the biggest headaches you're dealing with right now. And try to pinpoint where you could have made a difference. Are your sales slow? Well, maybe you didn't post enough content on social media to keep your business in front of your customers. Are you just plain exhausted? Well, maybe you said yes to too many things over the last couple of months and put your own time and health on the back burner. I can tell you, I have done this one so many times. And friends, if you aren't taking care of yourself and getting some rest and good nutrition and exercise, you are missing out on a key ingredient to how a successful business runs. It all boils down to you. If you are running on only 2 out of 4 cylinders, how can you dig into all the things that your company needs from you? Check out my podcast episode number 13, Creating Margin and Killing Overwhelm, for help on this one. I'll link it in the show notes as well. Or maybe right now you feel like you are at odds with your spouse or your kids. This is usually because you have put them on the back burner way too long. A lot of times, this can be remedied by just having a simple, honest conversation with them that this time of the year might be pulling you away from them temporarily, but you promise there is an end to this stress in the near future, and you will be needing their help in giving you just a little bit of slack. And honestly, that brings me to my third strategy. Ask for help. I don't know why, but this is one of the hardest things for me to do. I feel like I'm always trying so hard to prove that I can do it by myself that sometimes I forget that all successful business owners, big time businesses, had at least one person to help them, if not a whole team. While you might not be able to afford a team just yet, you might be able to ask for help from someone you know. Delegating things that can be done by someone else can be tough, since you'll need to spend some time training them to do it, but think of it as an investment. If you spend an afternoon training someone to do something that takes you, say an hour a day, then it's going to pay you back in less than a week in just time alone. And that is something we all need more of, time. If you are in a place where you could afford to pay for someone's help, it might be the time to do it, even if it is only temporary or seasonal help. Most people wouldn't mind making a few extra bucks this season. And lastly, gratitude puts all things in perspective. If you didn't have all the things to do, then life would be so boring and lonely. You chose this life as a business person, and your customers chose you. Each night, as you go to bed, think of at least one thing that went well today. Instead of concentrating on all the things that didn't get done, all the things that went wrong, just focus on what went well. This can really lower your stress level before you try to sleep, making your sleep a little bit more fruitful. And that's something that I think we all could use too. Okay, so how do we make more cha-ching this season, right? That is the real question. Here's what you need to do. Keep an eye out for what your customers could need that you could add to the sale without a lot of time investment on your part. Think about a product that might help them, a gift that they could buy that might make them seem like a hero, or a checklist to help them get through the season feeling a little bit more prepared. But really, one of the best things that you can do to boost sales this time of year is to just care about your customers. Really just care about them. They are going through a stressful time too, and just a quick text message or a call or even a thank you note, handwritten of course, can go a long way. It not only lets them know that you care, but also reminds them that you exist and really appreciate them as a customer. And that is what really matters. Your customers want to know that you care and that they are not just another dollar sign to you. Remember to be grateful for every customer you have. They are not a headache, nor are they just a number. They are real people who have decided to give you their hard-earned money. You, not some big box store, not your competition down the street. you. So be grateful for it. Walmart and Amazon really don't show that they care, but if you do, then maybe people will come to you instead of the big guys in the market. And yes, I know that a lot of businesses have closed their doors due to Amazon and Walmart. So I'm going to tackle that conversation all about competition in a later episode. Just remember that people want to do business with real people if possible. You are that person. Be of service and they will appreciate it and come back. But for now, get some rest so that you can put in your best effort and show your family and your customers that you care about them. Because that's why you're doing this, right? You want to help people and provide for your family. So keep it in perspective. So this week's homework is something quick, so you don't have to dedicate a huge chunk of your valuable time to it, since I know that your time is much better spent elsewhere. This week, I want you to think about what the biggest issue you are having currently is, and be on the lookout for other issues that might come up in the near future. Write those down, and then think of ways to combat that issue over the next year. So maybe next holiday season isn't quite so stressful. And tonight, the most important thing, I want you to think of at least one thing that went well today. Guys, I am so thankful for you all listening in on this podcast. I really hope that I am able to help you navigate through this business life like a pro. If you know anyone who could benefit from the things I covered today, please share it. We could all use a little less stressful of a season. I hope that this season is a great example of why you are going into business for yourself and you really see that it's worth it, because it is. I'll see you next week on the Quality of Life podcast. See ya! Thanks for listening to today's episode. Be sure to check us out on the Quality of Life podcast, Facebook and Instagram pages, and our website, theerinolson.com, for downloads and more information. That is THEERINOLSON.com. Stay up to date by joining our email newsletter. Together, we can improve all of our quality of life.